Talking with famous people.
Hi, host Eric here, host of Talking with Famous People. And in this brief 5-minute video, I'd like to respond to a video by an individual named Andy B, who is an INFJ and who talks in his video about his brother, who's an ENTP. And he said a couple of things that I thought were really, that prompted me to do some thinking, and I thought I'd make a little response video here. First of all, I'm not going to go in order. I'm going to go towards the middle. So I'm going to start in the middle of the video. But one thing he said that really struck me was that his brother had particularly developed FE. And the reason it struck me is I've been doing a lot of thinking lately about how ENTPs vary. And I think one of the main vectors on which they vary is that some ENTPs have more, they more lead with a FE perspective, and some ENTPs more lead with a TI perspective. In terms of, obviously we all lead with extroverted intuition. It's our defining characteristic. But in terms of the support function, I don't necessarily think we have to, I think we're going to default towards thinking when it comes down to it. But for a lot of us, I think we do prioritize the extroverted feeling priorities, which are to say, I make a lot of jokes when I'm out in the world and I want to make people laugh. I find that probably the most satisfying thing, most satisfying kind of feedback I can get or engagement with others is if I make somebody really honestly laugh hard. As it happens occasionally, I'll make a good joke and someone will just like bust up, like hard time catching your breath kind of laughing. Not often, but occasionally. And when I do, and I hear them laughing, it very much it hits my reward center square in the middle of the bullseye. So for me, I think I have in general prioritized FE more than a lot of other ENTPs necessarily do. I've been talking to Jody periodically, Scarcer. His name confuses me, and the fact that he didn't tell me which one it was when I asked, he's like, either way. I'm like, now I don't have an answer. Anyway, he seems much more TI leading than me. He's a little less volatile. I sound more like Andy B's brother. He's talking about how his brother posts Facebook posts every 10 minutes. I did that too until I discovered YouTube was much more satisfying. May I recommend to you, Andy B, that you recommend to your brother that he do what I have done, which is start off just by putting up a whole bunch of YouTube videos of him just rambling on without editing them and not worrying about audience or anything like that. And like I've evolved eventually into actually caring about, when I realized at some point, actually maybe you could get views. I started caring about it and make my videos a little tighter. But I strongly recommend it because what I've discovered for me, and I think would be true for a lot of ENTPs, and it helps to provide, I think, an important narrative arc that carries through our lives, which is if you document these things and put them together as part of a larger narrative, and you're able to view your own videos and you see the narrative that it presents beyond just the narrative you intend, and you understand how these things thread together to comprise an identity, that it's very useful in reflecting upon oneself and being a little bit more concerned about making sure that our energy is well focused. Because, that's the thing. We want to engage, and there are a limited number of opportunities that we have to engage with a lot of other people in ways that are socially acceptable. We can't just go barrage our friends on Facebook, although we do anyway. But not anymore, I don't, because I do it on YouTube. And I find it more satisfying. Anyhow, the other thing I didn't get very much through this video. I'd probably make it a 10-minute video here because there's a few other things I wanted to talk about. He talks also in the video about his brother's contrarian nature and his tendency to want to debate all the time and stuff like that. I was talking with my daughter who's dating. I don't know if he's an ENTP or not. He's always seemed introverted around me because I haven't really heard him talk much. But that may be because I'm his girlfriend's father. I don't know. And I can be a little intimidating, I guess. But Delilah tells me about her conversations with him, and he is absolutely to the death opposed to ever admitting he's wrong about anything and wants to argue and quibble every little minor point. That suggests to me he's the ENTP. She connects with him, like boom, because she's the ENTP. I think, however, that relationship probably has a limited shelf life unless they're both extremely mature ENTPs. One thing that I think it's important for me to state out loud, though it's not going to necessarily be especially well received, maybe, I don't know, is that it is really hard to tell an ENTP anything, you know? And I don't know if that's going to be poorly received or not. I think it's true. It's true for me. And if somebody is in a position where they perhaps, this is the part that won't be well received. If somebody is in a position where they're perhaps a little bit, have some advice perhaps for younger ENTPs, the younger ENTP is going to reject it out of hand, right off the bat, as inherently opposed to their intrinsic nature. And my position on this is that the number one job in terms of the function of the extroverted intuitor, either the ENTP or the ENFP, is to disrupt. That's what our function really is. So if you're leading with SI NDB, then in my model, which is just sort of a skin that fits on top of a socionics MBTI model, in my understanding of it, your primary function is to regulate. Now, that's regulating yourself in time, which means you should be organized in terms of your schedule and stuff. You should be. Wait, no, you don't lead with introverted sensing. That's IS. You lead with introverted intuition, huh? Oh, well, no wonder you're getting drunk. That makes a lot more sense. Yeah, INFJ. I know. I'm making. I was. You know what's funny? The reason I watched your video in part, I didn't even really think it through. But I made a few attempts at, I have a few failed attempts at a video about my INFJ best friend. And, you know, it's funny, you kind of even look like him, a younger version of him. I wonder if there's something about the body type. Do I look like your brother? I wonder, is your brother tall and skinny? Because I think there are two kinds of ENTPs, too. Anyway, body types. But I don't know, I'm not sure about that body type correlation. It does seem to apply to the ENTP. Most of us seem to be tall and skinny. But I know the other type as well, which is more on the stockier, like broad-shouldered kind. And I know one who lives in Northern California. Maybe he watches this video. Coach, mad props to you. Anyway, what was I saying? I got off track? Did I get off track? Did I get a little off track? I did, didn't I? Anyway, your video. I enjoy watching it. And the reason is because it's interesting hearing about your own personality type from another personality type's perspective. The things he's saying about his brother, like sitting in my seat, as another ENTP, I'm hearing that and going, yep, and also feeling like this sense of competitiveness immediately, right? Which is so ridiculous. Not only do I not know this person, it's not even this person talking. It's an INFJ talking about an ENTP. And I started with the competition thing. And I started thinking to myself, but it's not phrased that way, but here's the deal. When I say our lead function is to disrupt, what do we seek when we walk into any new environment? What is our number one thing that we're automatically, without thinking about it, what is our extroverted intuition looking for? Vulnerability. Some place where we can blow shit up. So it's a bit of a problem sometimes. What we need to do is to learn to recognize that, to learn to stop and go, this is your extroverted intuition leading you into another unnecessary battle. And you need to stop yourself, Eric. You need to go, okay, this battle is not necessary. It's not going to be fun as you think it is, or as you seem to be feeling like it's going to be. I think it's good advice for any ENTP to pull back and ask themselves periodically, I'm pushing hard on this point. Is it for a good reason? You know, I mean, am I just insisting on being right? And it's hard until we pull out. Once we do pull out of the emotion of it, though, if you discover you're wrong, go back and admit you're wrong. It really makes a big difference in all of your relationships, and acknowledge that persisting and arguing a point when you're wrong is a problem that you got to kind of deal with, because ultimately we do want to contribute to dialectic. It's one thing when you're fighting a good fight and you know you're right, and somebody's trying to give you pushback that shouldn't be giving you pushback. Then you fight that fight. But when we haven't yet learned how to pick our battles, we're doing ourselves and everybody else a disservice by wasting our time, basically. We've got important things to say and do, and we're easily distracted by little slap fights and stuff like that, So, anyway, I'm not sure exactly if I say it exactly on topic here. I'm responding to Andy B's message. But Andy B, thank you for the video. I enjoyed watching it. And have a great evening, everybody. Thanks for watching Talking with Famous People.
Talking with famous people.